What do you say, my friend?
Before we get into the record itself, do you have big plans to celebrate tomorrow? Like, what do you do when your album comes out?
Man, I've contemplated that in many different ways, and I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to do. But I at one point in my life, I would have partied it up. I think now I'll get outside and go swim in the river or in the lake or something, and just enjoy the day.
So with this album of yours, Songs About You, coming out tomorrow, what is something, because I know you're talking to everybody about this, it's exciting, it's coming out, we love your single, we've been playing it. What is something you haven't shared with anybody else yet about this album? Maybe it just hasn't come up yet, or you haven't thought about it until this moment. What's something you could tell us special about this album?
That's a great question. I don't think I've ever been asked that. That's interesting. What have I not told anybody yet? Well, I don't know. I don't think I've really told people how we did the vocals on this record, which is pretty interesting. Like the vocals, a lot of the vocals were done the day I wrote the song, which was cool. It was at one point there's a song called Hideaway. We wrote the song and we sang it in the living room at a ranch in Montana, and you can hear the fire crackling and stuff in the background. It was so raw and real. I was like, why don't we just use that? We don't have to have some fancy studio. It sounds amazing like this, and it sounds real and honest. So that I think would be one right there.
So
I've loved doing it like that.
So that actually made it onto the albums, what you're saying then, that fire crackling and everything.
Yeah. You can, if you listen close, you can hear it on Hideaway.
With that being the case, how often does that happen where you write a song and then you sing it immediately afterwards? Is that pretty common for you or no?
Now it is. I've done it some through the years, but I went all the way there on this record, and most of the songs I sang the day of. Like, we listened to it and we're like, we could try to re-sing these, but it's so more real a lot of the time. The moment that you discover something, you're not overthinking it. You're just being it. You know what I mean? And so to capture the vocal right there, it's so honest. It's so like discovering something for the first time. It's just never going to be that more exciting than that. And so I think that's why it works. And I think most of the record is like that.
That is awesome. So do you have like a travel kit with you, like a microphone and stuff, if you're on the road and you just come up with this idea? Do you have that? Or did all these songs come together in one place at one time?
All these songs, they came together in a lot of different places. And I worked with 4 different producers on this record, and they're all great producers that also can take their studios about anywhere they want to go with them, and make a little home studio about anything. I mean, one of them would just roll in a suitcase and have a bunch of gear, and then we would, after we got like the guts of the song, then we'd take it into the studio and add some other parts. But once you got a great vocal and you've got the good, somebody that can play all these instruments, I mean, it would freak you out just to see how insanely talented some of these guys are playing so many instruments, and they're the top of their game doing it. And so that's a really cool way to capture it, and you can do it about anywhere from a living room. I did it a lot in my living rooms, and an Airbnb in the middle of Montana. You can kind of go anywhere now. It's pretty fun.
That you're really selling the album. Like, you're just making it sound so interesting and unique. I cannot wait to hear the whole thing beginning to end. I know everybody else can't. You mentioned Airbnb. Did you have any crazy Airbnb stories you want to share from this experience?
I don't have any. I was trying to think about that the other day. Like, if I had any crazy. One time I had a bunch of termites flying on me when it was like a really nice place, but somehow termites were flying on the bed. Which was kind of a nightmare. I was like, oh my God, I don't know what these are, but I don't want to be laying in this bed with these termites. So that was probably, I don't think I gave a terrible review or anything, but I definitely didn't enjoy that part of it.
So you do reviews?
No, I usually don't.
Okay.
I usually just, I usually just leave it up to the imagination, I don't want to ruin anybody's day.
So when people are done listening from your album, beginning to end, Songs About You coming out tomorrow, what do you want the takeaway to be from this album?
I want the takeaway to be that, these songs are about you. Like these, you find a part of yourself when you hear this record. It's very, very personal in a way that I think I found a lot of myself in making this record, and I really wanted to make it in a way where someone could find their heart in this record, and it really does that. I really think when you listen to this front to back, you will find out something about yourself, and you'll in some way, shape, or form, even if it's just a couple percent, that's exactly why you do it. The little things you add in your life, I think that help out, and I think this record can really do that.
Not just saying this, always been a big fan of yours, Brett. Looking forward to it tomorrow. One last quick question for you. I like to ask everybody this. What has been your most fun recent purchase for just yourself?
Ooh. I bought a sauna, and since it's a sauna outside right now,
Yep.
100 degrees in Nashville, I'm kind of preparing myself for the crazy hotness of Nashville right now. So I really like the sauna, and it's a good way to kind of help recover. I do a lot of training and stuff, and it really helps out a lot. So I really like the sauna purchase. I think it's been good.